Okay, now you take your tracer. This case I'm using the Snowman. I put him on top here. He fits on my clay. My clay isn't too thin. Okay, if your clay is like paper thin, guys, if it's like this thin, if it's that thin, that's too thin. You want it to be like a thick pancake at least, okay? So I put my Snowman on here, and then I trace around to cut him out. So here's his hat I'm cutting around. And guys, it's easier to go out from the middle. And then so I take them off, and then I go back over those lines. But you know what? I'm not going to throw away this clay this extra clay, because I'm going to be able to use that when I'm doing the next part. Okay? So I'm cutting around him. So now, the next step is to add the eyes and the nose and the mouth. So I'm going to use this clay that I cut off, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is make a hat. To make the hat, I'm going to just take my biggest piece of clay, and which is probably this one, and I'm going to just make, first of all, I'll use this for the brim of the hat. Okay, do you see that? And then I'll use this piece. I'll cut it into like a rectangle piece. And I'll use this for my hat. So it's this, the hat part is thicker than the rest. So I'm trimming this down to fit. And even though it's a little smaller, I'll turn it this way. And that's pretty good right there. Okay. So I'm going to add those pieces. To add those pieces, I have to do what's called score and slip. To score and slip, you take your paper clip that you're going to use, and you just rough up the spot where you're putting the hat pieces. And I'm going to go one direction, and I'm going to go the other direction to make make lines on there. And these are going to make fingers that the clay will grab onto. And I'm going to do the same thing on the back of the brim. I'm going to make lines. Okay, and then I'm going to take a drop of slip. Slip is like glue for clay. So I'm going to just dip my finger in there, and I'm going to put the slip. And all slip is water that I blended with clay. Okay? So I put it on here. And I put this on top, and then I'll just pinch off these two sides so it's the same length, and I'll make my hat the same way. I'll do the same thing. I'll score the back, and then I'll put this up here, and now I'll kind of blend it together like this. I'm pulling up from the bottom. I'm kind of pinching it together. Okay? I do the same thing for the brim of the hat. And to get these two to blend together, I just kind of go over it with my paper clip, and I push it together. And I kind of pinch this over here together. And there he is. So there's my hat. Okay? Now I want to make eyes for my snowman. So I'll take a little piece of clay, and I'll roll into a ball, and I'll see how big that is. That's a little too big. So I'll roll this one. Okay, and this is like when we made your fish, your seahorses. Remember when we made those and we did the same? We scored the back of that to make the eyes. And then I scored where I was going to put the eye. And then I took a little drop, and I put it on there. And there's my eye, one of my eyes. And then, and guys, if you don't use slip, it's not going to stick. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? You have to use the slip. Then, to make it look like an eye, I'm going to put a dot in the middle. And then I'm going to put a little line going across to make it look like the eyelid. So there's one eye, okay? And then I'm going to make a carrot nose. Oh, and look at this piece. It already kind of looks like a carrot. Okay? So I'm going to put a carrot going down like this. If you try to stick the carrot straight up, it's going to break off. So lay the carrot down sideways, okay? Same thing. Score the back of it. Score where you're going to put it. Put some slip on the back. Put her down there. Put it down there. Yeah. Oh, that's just an expression. And I'm going to put some little lines on it, like little carrot lines. So it kind of looks like a carrot now. Okay, and then I'll make another eye. Okay. So I would make my other eye. My other eye would go over here. Then I can take little pieces to make a coal mouth right here. Okay. If I want to make a scarf to put on him, see how I'm doing that? If I want to put a scarf on him, I take a long piece of clay like this, and I will flatten it out. Now, because you're not going to see it, I'm not going to wrap it around him. I'm going to actually cut this in half. I'm going to crisscross it over him like it's wrapping around him. So there's my scarf, okay? And you can make little arms if you want to by drawing your arms in like it's a stick. And you can make little boots by making a line here and a line here, and then making the end of your boot and the end of your boot with little strings on it. Okay, there's a bunch of different ways you could do it. You could actually put the boots on there too if you want to. Then when you're done, on the back, this is the most important part. You're going to put your initials, and I'm going to use my initials, MK for Mr. Kaser, M for Mr., K for Kaser, and then 3 LC for Mrs. Call's class, okay? And if you're in Mrs. Truax, it would be 3AT, and if you're in Mrs. Ling's, it would be 3LN, and Miss McAvin is 3RM, Miss Parker is 3HP, Mr. Olson is 3JO, Mrs. Ling is 3LN. Did I say that already? Maybe. But then when you're done and you've made your ornament, it will go on the tray and the back. Okay? Oh, and last but I almost forgot. You have to put a hole through the top with a pencil. It's got to push all the way through, because then I know I can fit a string through that hole. Okay? You've got to be able to see through it cleanly. All right? Then you can put it on the tray and turn it in. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, here we go.